So today we are going to look at a revision question on financial management. So this is a question that can be done on both business data analytics and even those that are doing financial management for intermediate level. Still, they can be able to use this particular question as part of their revision. And the question reads, Mapema Limited is considering investing in one of the two mutually exclusive projects. The relevant cash flow of each of the projects are as follows, are as shown in the table below. So we have project X and project Y, and they are shillings in thousand. They are shillings in thousand. So we have the initial investment here, and we have the cash flow from year 1 to year 6. Here we have been given these particular cash flows, and additional information. The firm cost of capital is 15%. Cash flow accrue at the end of each year. So you are required to compute the following for each project: so discounted payback period, modified internal rate of return, and profitability index, the PI. So for each, there are two projects. So you're dealing with project X and project Y, and for each we calculate these. Discounted payback. So we shall start with that of let's start with project X. So project X, and for project X, I will have my year, that is year 1 to year 6. Year 1 to year 6, here I will autofill that way, and I will have, let me put my year here, I will paste it there. These are, so the year, they are shillings in thousand, so there is no problem with this being here. Let me just have it here. So they are shillings in thousand. So shillings in thousand. So shillings in thousand. 1,000. That way. So they are shillings in thousand. So we shall have in year 1 our cash flow for project X, and I will autofill this. So that is our cash flow for project X. Then what will follow next? So this is our cash flow. Allow me to have these here, and at that point, so this is our cash flow, and for the cash flow, so this cash flow are shillings in thousand. Allow me to just put it in order. So here, shillings in thousand is supposed to be here. The cash flow is supposed to be the header here. So that's our cash flow. Then here, still shillings in thousand. Still shillings in thousand. So here we shall have the present value. Present value. That is the discounted values. And here we shall have the cumulative cash flow. Cumulative cash flow, the one that is discounted already. So to discount, we have this, the rate, which is 15%. Our rate, which is 15%, the discounted amount, 15%. So in this case, now what we shall do, we shall put the PV formula. Remember, PV is the present value, which returns the present value of an investment. The total amount that a series of future payments is worth now. So here I will double click, or I will tab this, and it will require me to input the rate. My rate already is there. The number of period are my years, starting from year 1 to year 6. Then the payment, we don't have a payment, we are receiving. So if we don't have a payment, put a 0, and then the future value, which we shall put as a negative. These are our future value. So we put them as a negative because Excel is designed to take this amount as payments. So already when you don't put a negative, it will assume they are already an outflow. So the negative converts them to be inflow, and you do close that and you enter. When you discount that, and I will change this into a number. Need it to be a number, and I will autofill, and you'll find that will be, so there is somewhere it has not, yeah, it has not captured because our rate is constant. So I'm supposed to lock the rate. I'm locking the rate by using F4 so that the rate is locked. And when I lock the rate, I'll be able now to autofill, and we'll be able to see that when you discount those values, this will be your present, they will be your present value after you have discounted them, And here we just need to find the cumulative values. I'll take in year 1 it will be the same value, but in year 2 I take year 1 plus year 2 cumulatively, and I will drag from year 2. So those will be our cumulative cash flow. Remember, for payback period, that is what we need to answer for Roman 1. For Roman 1, that is the discounted payback period, and for the discounted payback period we are using the cumulative. This is what the cumulative cash flow that is already discounted, and the initial amount, our initial cost or our initial investment in this case is 57. This is our initial. So when are we recovering this amount under the cumulative? So we shall recover these within a period of 3 years. Within a period of 3 years, we are supposed to, within a period of 4 years to be specific, 4 years we are recovering 52, but we need 57. Yeah, so our payback period will be 4 years. Payback period will be 4 years. 4 years, and the months now, I'll check the months here. I'll check a negative bracket, negative this to convert it into positive, minus. So here we calculate the balance that we need. We'll find that our balance is the initial minus this value, and this one we shall be able to recover it in year 5. Under these, they discounted for year 5. Under the discounted, so this one is supposed to be over this value for year 5, which will be 1 point. It's not supposed to be 1.7. It must be a problem, because whatever we are recovering, that means whatever you are recovering is more. So 57,750 is more than 57,196. It is more than this. That means we shall recover these within a period of 5 years. I will change this. It's within a period of 5 years. Within a period of 5 years, and the number of months now will be this one. And I start with the negative, this one, and I minus this one, and I divide now in year 5, year 6 out of this. So 0.17. So the total, my payback period now, PBP, payback period will be 5.5 plus this. It will be equals to 5 plus this. Yeah, 5.17 years. So that will be our payback period. So that's the discounted payback period. Shall be able to recover it within a period of 5 years, and 0.17, of which 0.17 you can decide to convert that. You can decide to convert 0.17 into months. Still that one is acceptable if you decide to convert that into months, but for us we shall deal with it that way. Then number 2, under number 2, so number 2 is what you need, the modified internal rate of return. And for the modified, if you come here and you write M, the mirror, modified internal rate of return, you'll find that here equals to MRR mir. So the mir, it says it returns the internal rate of return for a series of periodic cash flow, considering both cost of investment and interest on reinvestment of cash flow. In this case, we don't have reinvestment of cash flow, so we need to get the values. So just take our cash flow the way they are, our cash flow, and this cash flow now, when we are dealing with mir, we need all the cash flow. So we need all the cash flow. Allow me to restate this. So we shall have our year, and so start from 0, then 1, then 2, then I will autofill this to 6, then our cash flow, and I will start from the negative, what we have as our negative for year 0, and then these others that we have from year 1. From year 1 to year 6, we use all the cash flow in this case, so that our modified internal rate of return will be our mir tab. We need the values, all of them, all the values. We put a comma to the finance rate, which is 15, and we normally take it to be the same. If you don't have the investment, you assume both of them are the same. The investment rate and the finance rate are the same, and you enter, and you'll find that in our case the modified internal rate of return is 16. So if you are to give an advisor, they should invest because mir is higher than the cost of capital. If it is less than, then you should not invest, but because it is higher than, then you should be able to invest on that. So modified internal rate of return, which is higher than the cost of capital, then you can be able to invest on that. Then the number 3, now we have the profitability index. Remember, PI is equals to present value of cash inflows over present value PV of cash outflow. So present value of cash inflow, and we divide by PV of cash outflow. So the PV, you can decide to add this. Yeah, you can decide to add this. This is the present value that we have. Yeah, this one is our present value that we had already calculated. And it's the same as, if you are not to use that, you can still use the formula for NPV. Remember, when you use the formula for NPV, it will require you to have the rate, and I put a comma and I take my values, these values here, and I close and I enter. You'll find that so for this one is not giving the correct value. Yeah, so this one is not the correct value. Let me see, and it is capturing all. Yeah, so the reason that there is a negative value there, I think it is not considering that. So we shall deal with that total that we had up there. Yeah, shall deal with this as our total that we had a minute. So our profitability index, already we have our PV here, PV of inflow, and it divided by PV of outflow, which I'll put a negative, which was this one, our outflow, and we'll get that this one in number will be 1.05. So we have a profitability index of 1.05. So profitability index of 1.05, that is what we shall be able to use under that one, 1.05. Then that is for the first project. We can do for project 2 here, project Y. So project Y, so for project Y, so we have the year for project Y. So year 1 to year 6, yeah, that way. And then we have our cash flow. This one will remain cash flow, and the cumulative cash flow, and this one shillings in thousand, that way. So here is a dash. So our cash flow that we had is this one now. Drag this that way. So here we shall take our our PV, present value. Our rate was 15, which we are locking. Then the number of period from year 1. Here put a comma. So the payment is 0. We're not having any payment here. We're not having any payment. And the future value, put a negative this, and you close the bracket and you enter. So turn this to be a number, and yeah, 2 decimal. Okay, and you drag that, so that will be our present value. So cumulatively we add, so this one will be this plus this one, and we drag this, so that will be our cumulative cash flow. And to answer Roman 1 still on this particular project, the payback period, our initial investment for this one is negative 55. Yeah, 55. So our payback period will be, so 55, 500. We shall be able to get it in these figures are not adding up correctly, because you cannot have 63 then you have 55. Okay, you can, because of the negative. Yeah, because of the negative it reduced. So the maximum we have is 55. Yeah, the maximum we have is so the moment we shall be able to recover, so here we are recovering 57, so here we need to recover 55, and we'll find that 55 already we shall have recovered it in year 4, not even in year 4, in year 3. In year 3 already we are able to recover that, because here we have 44 and the balance, so we shall have 3 years, 3 years, and the balance here we shall take this one. I'll put a negative, the initial, and we minus the 44 here, which we shall be able to recover this over here, the year 4, over year 4, so 0.30, so that our payback period will be 3 plus this one, put equal sign here, 3 plus this, so it will be, so 3 plus this one, which will be 3 point, so you can reduce the number here to 2 decimal, so 3.6 years. So that is the period within which you shall be able to recover. So this one is being recovered over a shorter period of time compared to the first project. So compared to project 1 or project X, then this one we are recovering it faster. So this was project X and this is project Y. If you are to propose, you shall propose we go with project Y, because the period is shorter, the recovery period that we are recovering. So for the modified internal rate of return, still we shall have the years here, and our year starts from 0. I drag this to year 6, and I'll have my cash flow. So my cash flow starting from the initial one here and this other one, and I drag this that way. So our MIR, modified internal rate, will be our values, this one, we put a comma. So the rate, we have said the finance rate and the investment rate, they are the same, finance rate and investment rate, and you'll find that this one has a modified rate of return of 18%, still making it better compared to the first one. And for profitability index, which I have said is PI, present value of inflow, our present value of outflow. So here we shall add these. This is a PV of inflow, the PV of inflow there. So that is the PV of inflow, and here we shall check our PI to be the PV of inflow divided by PV of outflow, where we are putting a negative so that we have a positive value. So 1 point reduced to 2 decimal 1.18. So still this one has a higher PI compared to this. So if you are to give the advice, in all cases they should go with project Y. They should go with project Y. That's how that question was supposed to be done.